Okay, so I felt I was getting a little sloppy there towards the end of the last video, so I thought I'd break it and I can resume. I'm looking right now. I'm getting close to figure 3-23 in that textbook, and chapter 3. And what I want to do is I definitely, this part is an important topic for a variety of reasons. So I want to spend a little bit of time on that particular part. So anyway, so here's the deal. So I got myself a basic query here. We've left the where clause for now, and we're back to sort of looking at our projection here. We're back to looking at our projection. And in my projection, I see the client num, client name, credit limit, and balance. And what I want to do is I want to work out how many people have got available credit left after their balance, right? That's what I want to know. And so the business logic is that if you got $2,500 and you have a balance of balance being that you've got this on your card, I guess, $1,904, the available credit left is 2,500 subtract 1,904. And so what we'd want to do is we can add ourselves a nice little column here called credit limit subtract balance. And again, note the white space. Right, I don't squish them together. You know, it's not like we're paid by the space. So in this case, I got myself an error, which is of course not really what I was expecting. So let me have a quick look to see what I did. I think I might have highlighted C and tried to run C. So let's just run that again. All right, there you go. Another day in paradise. So the point is that what I got is I got myself this column, which does actually now have the available credit. If only I could have actually called that available credit. Well, I can, because I can use an alias. And the way the book does it, in this case, and we are in 100% agreement. I could just go and type in available credit like that. I could do that, and I could run it, and then this column will change to available credit. I could do that, but it's not at all obvious what's going on up here anymore, is it? Right? What is that? Now that is actually called an alias, but what I would want to do is I'd want to put an as keyword separating my calculation or just column from the alias. Once I do that, it runs the same, but again, it's easier to read, which is what the whole purpose of this exercise is. Another thing too, by the way, once you start getting a kind of a long projection, don't worry, just feel free to put every column on its own line. I think you'll find that this will actually make your lives a little bit better. All right. So the learning point of that particular figure was the alias, but I wanted to point out that you should use the as keyword. And of course, there's our calculation right there. If I wanted to change client name to just name, by the way, I could also use an alias here. And I would line them up, by the way, as client name. Now watch what happens when I do this, and I'm going to go. It's going to get an error, right? This, believe it or not, this error I actually expected. It got an error because it's got a space there. An interesting thing about the way SQL works, what it does is it says, oh, you got a select statement. Okay, I'm expecting either a literal or a function or a column. It gets one. It says, okay, now I'm expecting either an alias or a comma or a from. And so it sees the comma, so it goes down to this guy. It's down to this guy now. It says, okay, awesome. I got myself another column. I'm expecting an alias, a comma, or a from. It gets an alias. Now it's saying, okay, I'm expecting a comma or a from. It gets a comma, and then it goes down to the next guy, and then it goes down to the next guy, and then it hits this thing. This thing basically is taken as one thing, and it basically says, okay, I got this. I'm expecting an alias, a comma, or a from. There is no comma there, so it's expecting from, and so it gets the from. Now what's going on up here is that client name, it's expecting the alias, which it interprets as this, and then at that point it's expecting either a comma or a from, and it doesn't get either, so it says, hey, I can't find the from. If you want these two to be treated together, double quote, double quote. Now I got myself client name in the exact case. I would be tempted to do the same thing for available credit too if I wanted to. I could go quote available space credit quote. Now these are double quotes, not the single quotes that we were using before. And now I got myself the alias. And so that's sort of a quick sort of take on the whole alias thing and what's going on in figure 323. All right, as we continue, we don't really need to talk about that part. I already sort of did talk about the like, so I'm now cruising right through. We got the in, which was the subject of 329. I did that in the last thing. So now it's just an issue of sorting. So let's do this. Let's simplify. Let's get rid of client number. We don't need client number for this example, and let's. And let's remove credit limit and balance. We don't really need those now. I'd suggest when you're doing calculations, like what I'm doing on line 4, that you first make sure that you have them in your projections so you can see them. Once you know that they're working, you can take them out if you don't need them anymore. So what I got here is I got a bunch of balances, and I would like them order. Look at this guy, by the way. Nick's got like worse than no credit left. He's apparently behind. So anyways, I want to sort these. There is a clause for this, right? So far, you know, we've done the where clause, but there's an order by clause, and I can go order by, and what I could do is do this, order by this calculation. Actually, if I just go order by that and I go click, it's going to order it. And now I got Nick at the top, the guy that actually owes us money, and then everyone else, right? If I want that in descending order, I could go descending, and now it's sorted in a descending order. Cool. And by the way, I could basically at this point, although you're not going to get much here for this, but I could go sort it in ascending order. This is obviously the default, but sometimes it's considered a good form to either put that in there, or when you have computer-generated SQL, it will put that in there. So that's what that is. That means ascending. If I wanted to sort it sort of by this available credit and by client name, so available credit first, then client name second, this is how I would do it. Now notice what's going on here. It's going to sort by this in ascending, and then that in ascending. So if you wanted to, you could always, you know, just specify the direction for every single column separated by a comma. And so that's basically that's the sorting. That's the sorting that you kind of see going on there. And they have a sort of discussion about sorting it with multiple fields. And that's it for like basic simple projections. I actually will break now, and then I'm going to go into more sophisticated things like grouping and then subqueries, and that'll probably do it for the chapter, I think. No, actually, we got some DML to do too. So anyway, but I'm going to keep this one a bit shorter than the last one because that might have been a little bit exhausting. All right, so on we go to the next one.